That's pretty good.
Tim, I'll sit with you.
Hey, come on in.
Going in the fun.
Thank you.
They took your name. Oh, sure. I don't mind.
Okay, I'm calling to order our April Planning Commission meeting, and we will start by an invocation by Vice Mayor Johnson.
Shall we pray? Dear God, we thank you for this beautiful day that you have given us. Thank you for the beautiful opportunities to live here in the city of Collegedale. We ask that you guide this planning commission to do what's right for our community. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Here?
Mayor Lloyd,
Here.
Member Freeson, Member Lehman, Member Moody,
Here.
Vice Chairman Givens, Chairwoman Gray.
Here. And minutes is the next agenda item. I'm ready to entertain a motion on that.
Move to approve. Second?
Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd,
Abstain, I was not here.
Member Moody,
Yes.
Chairwoman Gray.
Yes. Okay, and our case this evening is subdivision 2022-02. We hit that last month, and some of us, including myself, didn't have an impeccable 7-month memory. And so we decided to go ahead and put that off for 30 days to make sure when we came back to discuss the case, we were all on the same page. So I wanted to thank Jason for clarifying that we did in our, I can't remember if it was 7 months ago, that we did approve that the garages could be front loading for the subdivision. But with that, I'll pass it to staff and introduce the case for us.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jason. I'm the city planner. As you said, this project tonight is for sub 2022-02. I'll just kind of go through it quickly since you've already seen it. So this project is proposing an 82 residential lot subdivision on existing 12.19 acres located at 5254 and 5216 Udawal Ringgold Road. The proposed subdivision located at 5254 and 5216 Udawal Ringgold Road comes after adoption of ordinance 1103 and the approval of zoning case 2002-01, which was a rezone from AG to R1T. Ordinance 1103 created a new zoning classification allowing fee simple townhomes and zero lot lines. The intent of the R1T district is to provide regulations for the development of townhomes or row houses and single family zero lot line building patio homes in a manner which is attractive, provides for efficient use of the land, and is compatible with surrounding development. ZON 2022-01 was approved in 2022 and granted the rezoning of the two properties from AG to the newly adopted residential zero lot line townhouse district R1T, which is the approval of ordinance 1103. So for this project, the applicant has since applied for their subdivision, their prelim plat, to further pursue the development of townhomes and the two lots, which were just granted the new zoning. The subdivision is proposing the creation of 82 lots and 82 townhomes on the total combined of 12.19 acres of the existing two parcels located at 5254 and 5216 Udawal Ringgold Road. The subdivision would include 5 community lots, which would provide open space and recreational areas. The subdivision would also create cul-de-sacs within the community and would request ingress and egress from State Route 321, which is owned by the state. So here's a vicinity map showing where the townhomes are being proposed. So for the current zoning map, surrounding zone classifications to the north is mixed-use town center. To the east, we have Hamilton County residential, which is R1. To the south, we have low-density single-family, which is R1L. And to the west, we have shopping center commercial, C2. For the surrounding land uses, so the project site is currently vacant. To the north, we have a commercial daycare. To the east, we have the railroad. To the south, we have single-family residential. To the west, we have self-storage warehouses. Here are the landscape requirements that would be required once construction actually starts. There'd be a 10-foot landscape buffer between high-density and low-density residential. A 5-foot landscape strip is required along the side and rear lot lines of development, and a 20-foot landscape buffer between commercial and residential. Here are the allowable uses. As I said, it's for townhomes. The front setback would be 10 feet. I'm sorry, that's incorrect without the rear loaded garages. And the side would be 1.5 feet, and the rear would be 25 feet. Here's the site plan. Here's the site plan that's enlarged. So staff comments: the subject properties are located within an active corridor and are within range of a higher intensity uses such as the adjacent daycare. In addition, Ooltewah Middle School, Wolf Beaver Creek Elementary Schools, and additional multifamily residential uses are located within a quarter mile of the property. The subdivision request is a reasonable extension of residential use within the city that is consistent with prevailing and nearby uses. Townhomes with a minor arterial roads would be considered a sustainable and reasonable growth response to the continued rise in housing needs within the Hamilton County area and the city of Collegedale. Therefore, the proposed subdivision is being considered compatible with the city of Collegedale's planning staff. Here are the conditions that come along with the project. So full site and civil landscape plan review and approval by staff, including but not limited to the city engineer, city planner, building officer, and fire marshal. An improved connection to the city Collegedale sewer system, TDOT review and approval of ingress and ingress. The density shall not exceed 6.72 units per acre. The number of units shall not exceed 82 units. Per the provisions of Ordinance 1103, at least 20% of the site shall be developed into open recreational space, which consists of landscaping maintained, utilizing a combination of the following: planted grass, existing natural vegetation where practicable, or additional vegetation planting as required by the landscape ordinance. Unless the applicant agents are assigned, can demonstrate significant and compelling reasons to the contrary, existing mature trees within the open space or outside of the usual site grading activities shall be preserved. Significant and compelling reasons may, but not limited to, evidence of disease or structural weakness, inability to the grade to the site without preserving a viable root system. The tree is generally identified by the state of Tennessee as an invasive species to the area. With that, staff recommends the approval of sub 2022-02. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Is there discussion or questions?
Not any questions. I went back and watched the video too, and we definitely agreed to go with the front loading garages.
Okay.
And in a townhouse subdivision, it's really not hardly feasible to have rear loading garages because you end up having to have alleys to access them. And the majority of the rear yard would end up being paved for turnarounds and driveways if you did have an alley to access.
How much room is between each condo or townhome?
Zero.
They'll share a common wall.
Actually, this much.
Yeah. Is it, I thought I saw a number up there. Maybe I didn't.
The 1.5 feet would be the outside of the row homes.
Unit to unit, there's just basically an airspace. There's a property line that runs down through the airspace. There's a 1-hour fire rated wall on each side of that property line that's self-supporting in townhouse construction. And each one is sold off in fee simple so that it is an individual lot to itself.
And what's the average cost of one of these going to be sold for? Do we know?
I would defer to the applicant, but I would assume the mid 300s.
I think Mr. McCoy mentioned before, they're in the high 2, low 3s, maybe.
And I know that Ruthie brought up about the open space last time. There's not going to be any playground type of.
All the,
Let me do this. Can you go ahead and come up and say your name and address? You're good. You're good.
all the community lot space and
I apologize. Last month, I knew exactly how much that percentage was. I think it's somewhere around 27, 28%. All that property will be deeded to the homeowners association, and Mr. McCoy would work with them to, help develop some of that. Although some of it would have some restrictions because that includes some of the areas, a couple areas for the detention. And then also part of that is in that power easement that TVA owns. So there would be some restrictions there, but there's other open spaces in and around. Most of the buildings as a whole, I think, are 4 and 5 units. So the question before, how much space between, there'll be 4 sitting here and then a setback between those buildings and then more. So it won't be a continuous row. There will be, breaks as you go. And given the topography, even though that's pretty flat, it does have some grade to it. So there'll be some stair stepping of the units also.
So when you think about the power lines, because we saw what happened in the last tornado that came through with the big power lines coming down and the poles taking quite a bit to get rebuilt. How far is the condo on either side of the power lines?
As I know, I can tell you how far they would be from the easement. I really don't know how much distance there is between the actual power line and the edge of the easement. The easement's 100 feet. Those are steel poles, so
But they collapsed.
you wouldn't.
They collapsed right across the street.
Did they? Okay. But I'm guessing you'd have at least 35, 40 feet between the easement and the rear of the building, because they're going to have some backyards. That would probably be the closest. Most of them would be more than that. And then you would have what distance there is from the edge of the easement over to the power line itself.
How many did the steel towers come down? Was it 2? Do you remember?
I don't know off the top of my head.
So the other thing I think Ruthie brought up was somebody brought up was the walkways, sidewalks. And I agree that we need to find a way to get people from the development to the middle school.
That's a TDOT corridor. We can't.
I know it is, but I don't foresee them developing that for years. And it can be done. I think the thing is somebody has to pay for the engineering aspect of it, submit it to TDOT. Kind of like we talked about when Wellesley was wanting something. And to me, that was throwaway money because TDOT's going to fix that road. I don't know that they're ever going to fix from the middle school down to the railroad tracks in my lifetime. But I think that it would be nice to have us look at that.
Hamilton County does not let students walk, right?
Well, I'm not just talking about for school. I'm just talking about to get.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
greenways
It's
and
just
stuff.
the middle school won't let students walk.
They do through Robinson Farm.
I know they do it, and they cut across the railroad tracks too.
Yeah,
but Hamilton
that's
County's
not a
policy
safe. That's
is-
not a safe journey. But
Hamilton County's
I just think
policy
it'd be
is that-
nice for us to have a way to get down the.
How about this, since we annually look at our sidewalk projects, that we'll put that in, we will start the conversations with TDOT now, just look at maybe next year, the year after in the city's budget as an extension.
Because there's only one house between the development and the middle school.
Correct.
And I don't know if we could talk to them about maybe pushing it back out of the TDOT right away. I know it's their property. Maybe we could approach them and say,
We can have that conversation and have the conversation with TDOT and see which one gets legs,
Yeah.
if either do.
Because it is so close to the Greenway, right?
it is.
Like it would
Right,
be, it would be a major selling point.
Oh, I agree.
There.
And we do have sidewalks that go from Ooltewah Ringo Road through into the interior. And then everything, all the property fronting the Ooltewah Ringo Road is going to be homeowners association property. It won't have development on it. So there's room there to do something if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So if you're good with that, I'll coordinate with Eric, assuming that this project goes forward, to look at it for next year's feasibility. And we'll start the conversations now with that property owner
Yeah.
and TDOT.
I just think that there's got to be a way to get around TDOT a little bit from that perspective. So,
We'll see how receptive they are. I think, to your point and the city's greater goal of walkability access everywhere, this is low-hanging fruit for a pretty good-sized project that would then be connected to the Greenway, to Absent Pike sidewalks, and could add a lot of connectivity.
And then, will you say your name and address to the mic, so we have that on address?
Steve Drummer, 6764 Emerton Road, Knoxville.
Okay, thank you. And then as far as the recreation area, so what you responded to that question is that the 27 to 28% of the total parcel would go to the homeowners association.
Right.
And then you're saying that they would be responsible for coming up with the cash to put whatever amenities they want.
I can't speak to what Mr. McCoy would put towards it, but he did indicate to me that all that will be deeded to the homeowners association. And then whether, he participates in getting something started, I really don't know.
Okay. I just, we're kind of looking for this to be an exemplary townhome development. It's the first one in our city. And
Right.
we're setting the precedent.
Right.
We want it to be
We,
great.
we got the zoning hot off the press. It was still warm when we got it several months ago. So I know it's the very first one.
so is there a possibility there won't be a homeowners association?
No, there will be, because developer will not retain those due to liability and cost and everything else. It's just standard procedure for them to create the homeowner association, get it started, and then the homeowners take over.
So, Mr. Drummer, let me ask you, in so many townhome developments I'm seeing of late, it seems as if you drive into a subdivision, they all look the same.
Mhm.
Are you proposing individuality with the units? I mean, are they going to look a little different? One have, gray shutters, other have black shutters or beige shutters?
I personally have not seen the renderings, but it won't be a box with a flat front. There'll be, a lot of, architectural look to it, and probably different colors and textures is typically what happens. I haven't seen exactly what is proposed for this one at this time.
Okay, are these 2 or 3-story units?
I think they're 2-story.
2-story?
Yeah.
Okay, and the garage being part of the first story?
Be part of the first story, yes.
Okay.
Door go in the side and into the back and then up above. Yeah, it's typically the way no, I don't believe any of these are proposed to be any more than 2-story.
Okay.
I think, don't take my word for it, but I think the idea for these is very similar to what was done in Barnsley Park on that one side, the one road that dead ends in the cul-de-sac on the north side.
Okay.
I think it would be something very similar to that,
Okay.
except those are one continuous long row where these will be broken up.
Okay. Okay. And Mr. Allen, have you seen drawings of the exterior?
No, I have not.
Okay.
So that'll be the next part of the process, if I'm understanding. We did the zoning first. Now we're looking at subdividing the property, and then we'd,
Yeah, site and civil would be next.
But architectural design would not apply since they're fee simple
okay.
compared to apartments. Apartments, we have architectural design, but fee simple lots, we do not. It would be the developer's decision.
Thanks for those clarifications.
And you said there were 4 units per,
It's a combination. I think most of them are 4 and 5, and we may actually have 1 6. We had to jockey some around as we developed the engineering plan to get everything to fit with the setbacks, where the detention ponds were and everything. But I believe at one time I had a 6 unit. I'm not sure if it's still there or not, but most of them are 4 and 5s.
Okay. Any further questions at this point? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I also want to take a moment and ask if our member of the public wanted to speak to this case this evening, because you are welcome to come speak to it if you'd like.
Thank you, probably not.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion, or I'm ready to entertain a motion?
I move we approve.
Okay,
A second.
okay. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd,
Yay.
Member Moody,
Yes.
Chairwoman Gray.
Yes. And is there anything else that you wanted to talk with us this evening, or does that adjourn us?
That's it for tonight. A little short one.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Appreciate it. We're adjourned.
I think-